difficult to claim your seat back if you're here as an observer. So with that, Senator Daines, welcome to the committee.
Chairman, thank you. Marco, it's good to have you here. I've got a great view here from the dais, seeing your family behind you, seeing Jeanette, Daniela, the rest of the Rubio family. What a moment of great honor, celebration for the Rubios, culminating on Monday, when your family will celebrate the 1-month anniversary of Anthony Rubio's touchdown as a Florida Gator. So congratulations on every front, proud dad. Look, you are charged with one of the most important tasks I think the administration will have, and that is advancing President Trump's agenda and representing the interests of the United States around the world. I can't think of a better nominee for Secretary of State to serve under President Trump than Marco Rubio. You'll have a lot of active conflicts we're working together on as we think about what's going on in Ukraine, Israel, Sudan, ongoing nuclear weapons program in Iran, the tyranny in Venezuela, the New START treaty that's been completely disregarded by Russia, and not to mention what we have as we think about strategies relates to China. I could continue to list the results that we saw from the Trump administration with the Abraham Accords and really moving forward here with significant substantive advancements of American interests abroad. But look, this next administration and the leadership of President Trump and your service will be extremely consequential. This posting could not be more important. Marco, as you know, Iran's the world's leading sponsor of terror. In 2024, Iran exported roughly 587 million barrels of oil, an increase of over 10% over the prior year. These illegal oil sales fund Hamas, the Hezbollah terrorism, the Houthis, the nuclear arms programs, drone technology that's being used right now by the Russians against Ukraine. These oil sales are directly resulting in global unrest, and they're costing innocent lives. Senator, if confirmed, what would be your goals and strategies to think about addressing Iran as an adversary?
You asked that question at a very interesting moment. So Iran today, 2 points I want to make about Iran, and it's really important. When we talk about Iran, I'm talking about the radical Shia clerics and not the people. The people of Iran are people of an ancient civilization, an ancient culture with tremendous pride and advances. And I don't know who take great pride in their Persian heritage and identity. And I don't know of any nation on earth in which there is a bigger difference between the people and those who govern them than what exists in Iran. And that's a fact that needs to be made repeatedly. In no way is the clerics who run that country representative of the people of that country and of its history and of contributions it's made to humanity. And it's a point I wish we would continue to make. Iran and that regime is at its weakest point in recent memory, maybe ever. Their air defenses have been badly damaged. Their Shia crescent that they were trying to create has been badly damaged in Lebanon, in Syria, where they've been basically forced and driven out. Their economy is in shambles. They now are, on some days, having 6, 8, 12, 9-hour blackouts. They are on the verge of potentially, if not having done so already, having to pull back on the energy subsidies that they provide people in that country that are incredibly popular, and it would be unpopular to reverse. So they're in a lot of trouble. And now what we need to be wise about is the following. I imagine that within that regime, and I'm just saying this because of common sense, there are 2 schools of thought. There's one group that's saying, now is the time where we need to find ourselves an off-ramp. Not going to turn into really nice guys, but we're really in trouble here. We need to find an off-ramp and buy ourselves some time. And then there's another group that's probably saying, now is the time to prove that we are a nuclear power or a nuclear-capable power, enriched from 60 to 90, and press go, and that's how we're going to buy ourselves immunity from foreign action. And this is a tenuous moment in that regard, but it's one we need to acknowledge. My view of it is that we should be open to any arrangement that allows us to have safety and stability in the region, but one in which we're clear-eyed. Any concessions we make to the Iranian regime, we should anticipate that they will use, as they have used in the past, to build their weapon systems and to try to restart their sponsorship of Hezbollah and other related entities around the region, because they seek to become the dominant regional power. That's their stated goal, and it's been clear by the actions that they've taken. I think it is interesting that in a year in which, I think by October of this year, the Europeans and the E3 countries of the UK, France, and Germany have to confront whether they're going to do the snapback provisions or not, because Iran is clearly in violation of the agreement that we're no longer a part of. And in fact, IAEA inspectors have not even been in the country since 2021, if I'm correct. So I think early this week on Monday, they engaged the Europeans in talking about nuclear arrangements. So whether that's indicative of the direction they're going on that, we're going to find out. What cannot be allowed under any circumstances is a nuclear-armed Iran. What could not be allowed under any circumstances is an Iran and an Iranian regime that has the resources and the capability to restart and continue their sponsorship of terrorism. And what cannot be allowed under any circumstances is an Iran with the military capability of threatening and destabilizing its neighbors and potentially reaching the homeland as well, both kinetically and directly, and also through their surrogate groups who have long planned contingencies for attacks. And let us not forget that this is a group, these are individuals that have spent the last 5 years actively and openly plotting the assassination of the president-elect and of multiple members of previous administrations. Think about this for a moment. When is the last time you heard that a foreign government is actively, openly, and admittedly seeking to assassinate the former Secretary of State, the former and soon-to-be once again President of the United States, and others? And that people have been arrested for plotting that. This is who we're dealing with. And anything that we do with Iran needs to be clear-eyed about who that regime is, but also who the people of Iran really are, and because they're not their leaders.
Marco, thank you. Shortly after the election and prior to Thanksgiving, I took a quick trip over to Central Asia. As I discussed that with you a bit, to Turkmenistan.